Flow light issues. I have a Pentair ic40. The flow light was showing red constantly even though I had good flow. I replaced the flow switch, but the flow light is still red. The cell is a few years old and shows it's only used 40% of its life. I have backwashed the filter a couple times. All the skimmers are clear. What else could be wrong? My first thought is if the cell is a few years old, you're likely getting to the end of its lifetime, even if you only are a seasonal user of your pool.
And it's saying 40%.
Like we are in
right?
Michigan, you have more hours on it than you would think. 10,000 hours is the typical wear out point on that. And if it's showing it's only used 40%, if you press and hold the buttons and it's giving you the indicator, I think it gives what's left versus what's been used. But if you replace your flow switch and it's still red, there's something else wrong in there. And my caution for you, I've seen it happen. Try to replace a flow switch in a chlorinate or in a telechlor. Replace the board in the panel, try to get it to work. The cell itself, something is worn out and it is saying I should not be working. It's time to replace me. Do that so that you don't have a malfunction of the electronics that allow chlorine to be produced and cause an explosion, a fire, something like that. There's some of those safeguards for a reason. So that would be my opinion on the subject.
One step farther would also be to look at the filtration equipment. You're backwashing, you're doing all those things, but are you getting proper filtration in the first place? Proper flow. Try to run the filter on recirculate, so it's bypassing the filter to increase the flow. See if that helps. If it does, then you know that you have a problem in the filter. Maybe it's time to change the sand in the filter. Another thing would be, is the impeller in the pump plugged? Did you get lots of debris, leaves, cottonwood, dog hair, long girls' or boys' hair into the impeller itself? Everything could be running, but it may not just be pushing enough water through as well. So there's several things to look at, but the big caution for sure, and people don't realize, and we can't stress enough as professionals, how dangerous this stuff can be. We like to think, oh, it's kumbaya and simple, and yet we've seen the results of salt generators exploding and burning up equipment. I personally carry the scars of a filter exploding in my face and almost taking my head off. So as much as we like to think it's all simple and all perfectly safe, it's not all simple and perfectly safe. Take the precautions and spend the money when you have to do the right thing. And if it's not in the filtration system, and if it's not in the, the filter or the pump itself, the absolute thing, the best thing you could do is replace the cell, because the last thing you want to ever experience is what we've gotten to see with what can happen.
Right.